With both the MCU and the DCEU playing around with multiverses in their movies at the moment, I can't help but think now could be the ideal time for a Batman Beyond movie. I could spend an entire day talking about why Batman Beyond is so good, and why it even needs a new sequel show, but to be honest, bringing Terry McGinnis to life in a live action film makes so much sense, for so many reasons, especially right now. Let's talk about it. In 1989, Michael Keaton was cast to play the Caped Crusader. He starred as Batman for 2 movies, and even now, over 30 years later, many still consider him to be the best Batman. I can't say I agree with that, but he certainly was fantastic for the time. In fact, it just so happens that Keaton will be returning to the role in 2022's The Flash movie. Keaton's return to the DC world signals new things for the whole DC universe. Reintroducing Bruce Wayne at an older age within the canonical DC universe means that there is a chance the in-world Terry McGinnis is also about the right age to be introduced as a new character, one we've not seen in live action, Batman Beyond. The original show remains a cult favourite. It expanded on the Batman mythos in ways we never thought were possible. It added new villains and a fresh look at Bruce Wayne, an old, vulnerable Bruce Wayne. Not only would this give the audience something new from Batman, but we also get new villains that we haven't seen before, rather than just having new takes on familiar characters. Now, let's go back to Keaton for a second. Despite having a poor end to the original run of Batman films, the ones that starred Keaton and were directed by Tim Burton were received well and are still loved today. Not only that, but they spawned the absolutely legendary Batman the Animated Series, a show that produced an entire world and style of future animated shows and films. Perhaps bringing Keaton, and maybe even Burton, back for the live-action Batman Beyond movie makes perfect sense. We have already established that Keaton is of the right age and is clearly willing to take on the character once more. Surely playing an older mentor version of Bruce Wayne would make far more sense for the 70-year-old actor than just playing Batman. And while 63-year-old Burton is still making movies, they seem to be becoming less frequent these days, with nothing in the past 3 years. Plus, the two were rumoured to be working on a potential Beetlejuice sequel a few years back, so they are still in contact at least. Now, while the Batman Beyond TV series was a success in its own right, it was also featured in the very successful Justice League Unlimited TV series, connecting the future Batman to a future Justice League. Across Batman's interactions with the Justice League, both in Batman Beyond and Justice League Unlimited, we see the new league comprised of new and old characters. This futuristic Justice League could tie in perfectly into a wider DCEU, showing potential futures and even parallel worlds. This could also be essentially a second chance for DC's cinematic universe. It's no secret that it's currently, well, an absolute mess. Multiple films that are not connected, soft reboots, multiple different versions of the same characters. It's just not good. Despite some of the individual movies being pretty good, it could certainly do with a restart. Now, while there have been rumours of the 2022 Flash movie completely erasing the Snyderverse from the current continuity, I think this could be a perfect opportunity to reset the cinematic universe. Essentially do the opposite to Marvel. Start in the future. Show us Batman Beyond, a futuristic Justice League. Build a universe there, and then, when we have built a familiarity with these characters, do prequels. Give us an origin story for this universe's Superman, Batman, Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, and so on. It would be a very different and fresh option, one that wouldn't just be copying Marvel and their formula for their movies and universe. One that they wouldn't have to rush to do to try and compete with Marvel. It makes so much sense. At least it does to me. Plus, let's talk about timing. Let's be real, the world is in a pretty rough position right now. Having some films where the characters are familiar, but we are in a more futuristic setting, a fantasy world so to speak, could be just the escapism that the world needs right now. All these current DC movies that are just giving us dark and depressing storylines in a world and time we are already living in just isn't helping. The characters in the DC universe are supposed to be a symbol for hope, giving us a reason to believe. So why not give us something to look forward to, a new take on what the future could hold. Yes, it will most likely be one filled with crazy criminals and villains in this story, but at least we also have new heroes to look to. The world building required to release a Batman Beyond movie would be pretty immense to say the least. Not only would it have to be set in a futuristic Gotham, but there would have to be new car designs, new fashion style, and even new words and language and slang, in a similar manner to what they did in the TV series. The creation of this whole new world would be incredible to watch, and to immerse oneself in for a runtime of the movie. To see how technology has improved, and how Batman fights crime in this new world would be amazing. Finally, let's face it, there is only so much you can do with the Batman character. Don't get me wrong, if they reboot it 10 times in the next 20 years, I'm going to watch every single one. But we all know that he's a dark hero who turned the pain caused by his parents' murder into a driving force for justice in Gotham. However, we've seen this countless times, and we're more than likely going to see something similar with Matt Reeves' The Batman. A Batman Beyond movie, on the other hand, would give fans of Batman and casual cinema goers alike a new and intriguing Batman story to follow, complete with an old Bruce Wayne and a new Batman in Terry McGinnis. Also, would it be too much to ask for Tom Holland to be cast as Terry? Though I'm not too sure how Marvel would feel about that. Lastly, I have to mention the costume. I came across this artist's rendition of the suit, and let's be honest, it looks so badass. It translates so well to live action. You only need to look at people's homemade cosplay costumes to know that a big budget suit would look incredible if done correct. If DC need any help with this project, I'm throwing my name in the hat. Just give me a call. My number is 079. Okay, so that's it from me today, my friends. I really hope you're enjoying the content on this new channel. What would you like to see from a Batman Beyond movie? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and return to the Batcave for more Batman content.